Hello, this is Matt Haywood for Team Airline, here to present our term project, which is a report and lab for ransomware, more specifically the CryptoLocker virus. Before getting into the lab, I just want to provide a bit of information on ransomware, which is a type of malware that encrypts certain files or the entire system of the target machine. The attacker will then offer the victim a ransom to unlock said files or system, hence the term ransomware. Most ransomware typically propagates through email attachments found in phishing scams, compromised websites, file sharing sites, or fake malware removal pop-ups and other similar scams. As previously mentioned, the payload usually encrypts the entire infected machine or specific files and directories. Unfortunately, detecting a potential ransomware attack isn't an exact science, and most of the time an attack isn't detected until after the attack takes place. The best methods to prevent these attacks from happening is to use up-to-date AV and anti-spyware software, user education and training, and user privileges and rights. Ransomware is definitely a troublesome virus thanks to the fact that it's hard to detect before it unleashes its attack, making attacks hard to prevent in an automated sense. The recovery options are minimal, with paying the ransom or full system wipe and backup restore being the only two options to circumvent the encryption. Ransomware is best prevented through user education, AV software, and firewall filters. Our lab involves a CryptoLocker attack on a CEO's machine at Company X. IT has determined that a ransomware attack took place via a phishing attempt emailed to the CEO. The files are indeed encrypted, but Company X isn't paying the ransom. Rather, they bring in digital forensic analysts to find the attacker and build a case for prosecution using sound computer and cyber forensic policies, procedures, and tactics. The lab is broken into 6 main parts. The first part revolves around the ransomware injection itself and what the encrypted system looks like when the digital forensic team arrived on site. The second part deals with the team reviewing the company's network intrusion logs to gather information on the attack and potentially the attacker. The third part deals with scanning email logs to also help track down the attacker through header information. The fourth part deals with creating an image of the victim's machine for proper investigation to take place. The fifth part deals with attacker identification, and the final part is the evidence report that the digital forensic team will turn over to Company X. To begin the lab, you must first retrieve a copy of the virus and verify its security settings. The virus file now must be unzipped before it can be deployed. Once the file is unzipped and launched, use WinHex to verify that it is running in memory. If the virus executed correctly, you should notice certain files and folders being encrypted, as well as the CryptoLocker banner prompting payment for the key. Now that the attack has occurred, it's up to the digital forensic investigators to use various tools to help identify how the attack took place. The first step in this process is to scan the network's packet logs to look for suspicious traffic. In this case, there's potential that the attacker and an inside employee work together based on the scan. The next step in the process is to scan through email header logs from the CEO and the suspected employee's machine to find suspicious metadata. In this case, there's information that the employee was in contact with the suspected attacker. Now that the employee's workstation has been secured as a potential leak, an image of it must be made using ProDiscover and a USB drive. Once the image has been created, you need to make copies of it and verify their integrity using the MD5 sum command on a Linux Kali forensic workstation. If the MD5 value checks out, the images are legit. Once the image is imported into the analysis tool, we will conduct keyword searches based on the background of the investigation, such as expenses and cash. We also navigated among active and deleted files for information. Upon searching the image, several files of interest were found. This deleted spreadsheet offers evidence that the employee had serious debt, possibly leading to them helping the attacker in the first place. Another file is discovered, but it has an extension of .old, so you must use WinHex to scan its header information to figure out what type of program will open it. In this case, the values found match the MS Office format, specifically Excel. Once the extension is changed to .xlsx, the file will open and it displays more suspicious data, confirming that the employee had confidential data on their system and probably shared it with the attacker. Additional analysis in ProDiscover checks the employee's internet history to see if they are visiting any sites related to the investigation. Several websites are identified that are associated with obtaining temporary employment. This suggests that the employee may be preparing to leave Company X for another short-term job. The goal of the forensic analysis is to determine if there are any insider threats at Company X that lead to the attacker. The evidence report produced based on those findings identified an employee that is potentially working with the ransomware actors. The email evidence suggests that the employee may be communicating directly with the sender of the virus. The data discovered on the workstation indicates that the employee has significant debts and monthly expense issues. The evidence report lists these items out in greater detail. The evidence report mirrors what was suggested in the attacker identification step and provides great insight into the fact that there was an employee with bad debt in communication with the attacker. This would be turned over to the company's legal team for prosecution. So in conclusion, our remediation and prevention recommendations are the following. The infected system must be wiped and restored from backup. There are no other ways to decrypt it without paying the ransom when it comes to a CryptoLocker attack. The company should also institute a user education program to make employees aware of email phishing scams and the CryptoLocker virus. Firewall rules should also be checked again. And finally, user access should be reevaluated to network resources so that they are only provided for their job duties. Thanks for watching. This is Matt Haywood from Team Airline for IST 454 Computer Forensics Term Project.